Okay, so normally I don't make follow-up videos, especially so close to the release of my original uploads, but y'all gotta indulge me a little bit here because I cannot help myself. There's more I want to talk about with Serverblight. I like this series too much and I have a lot to say. That and literally 2 days after my video discussing this series went up, a new one came out and it is probably my favorite in the entire series now. If you haven't seen my first video talking about this series, you can click on it here right now, or you can find it on my channel. It's not a must watch for this video, but it'll give some context as to everything I'm talking about. Okay, so first off, there were some details I either missed or y'all corrected me on in my original Serverblight video that I want to bring up here because I was either just blatantly incorrect about things or missed details that I think are really, really cool. First of all, many of y'all were quick to mention that in Reflections, in the scene where Bradolphin is looking at the water and seeing his own reflection, that the source engine doesn't have reflections. What we're seeing here is actually the player from the previous entry, Assimilation, posed in the water to trick Bradolphin and the audience into thinking it's a reflection. This detail is so subtly done that I genuinely did not notice it when I made my first video, and I thought it was too cool not to correct myself about with this one. I think it really plays into the point I was initially making with this scene in my original video too, about how the Serverblight seemingly has powers and abilities that it keeps under its sleeve for moments just like this one. Just when you think you have a grasp of this thing and what it can do, it pulls out something else that catches you off guard. Super cool moment made even cooler with the proper context. 3 other things I want to mention about this video that I feel are just neat little details worth mentioning are, firstly, during the time Bradolphin and Dixalot spend together, Bradolphin mentions that his best friend was on Thunder Mountain in the original Serverblight video, Empty Server. When Aaron asks who he was, we are given the name Directions. I didn't mention it in the first video because it had genuinely slipped my mind, but Directions was the name of the scout player Aaron shot at the beginning of Empty Server. He was also the scout that Matt had chased prior to his assimilation in the Serverblight entry. Now, when asked about this, Aaron said he didn't recognize the name. Whether or not this is because he genuinely forgot who Directions was, or because he was trying to spare Bradolphin the pain of knowing what happened to his friend, that much feels up in the air. It's a cool moment though, and was worth mentioning. Secondly, at the end of this video, I had a few people point out that there's actually a shadow seen behind Aaron in the final scene that looks to be a long, outstretched hand. This is just a really spooky detail that I feel communicates the influence and link between Aaron and the Serverblight even after he closes the game. And finally, my personal favorite detail I missed, it was pointed out to me that during Reflections, there's actually a scout player who manages to survive the Serverblight that can be seen hiding and taking Aaron's advice as he and Bradolphin talk to each other in chat. At the end, he can even be seen using the rocket jump strategy to escape, which is just such a cool little thing to include. Moments like this just flying under the radar for me are why I encourage people to watch this series for yourselves. There is so much going on and so much attention to detail that things are bound to fly over your head. So being able to discuss it with other people who may have seen things you didn't adds a lot of fun to the discussion surrounding this series. Speaking of which, there's a new episode out and I really want to talk about it because, oh my god, it is so cool. Our new entry, Awareness, opens with a match of Capture the Flag where a group of players are attempting to teach their friend Nexus, who is new to the game, how to play. At first, there is this moment where it seems like Nexus may have been assimilated, but as it turns out, he just didn't know how to use the mic, and all is good. Things aren't going too well for them though, as a sniper player is holding their team down who is named... Hold on, that name looks familiar. Okay, all jokes aside, it genuinely made me so happy to see this little homage to me in the video, I won't lie. This has been one of my absolute favorite horror series on YouTube right now, so seeing my name actually included in it, even if it's just a small Easter egg like this, I don't know, man, it feels really surreal. Thank you so much for that. It means a lot to me. Anyways, legendary sniper player Pastra Gushes is kicking red team's ass, so they proceed to move carefully through the level to try and take care of him. As they arrive to the middle of the map, they engage in a fight with the blue heavy, who is taken care of, and legendary sniper player Pastra Gushes is nowhere to be seen. His name doesn't appear in the kill feed, and when we get a wide shot, we can see his sniper perch is just empty. This doesn't even get acknowledged by the characters in the video, who just kind of ignore this and proceed through the map. There's this moment as they're progressing to the intel that they teach Nexus how to emote, specifically with interactive emotes, and not long after he decides to put that into practice, emoting towards one of his team's soldiers after stealing a med pack from him. And this soldier responds by doing the exact same emote back at him. An emote that only the scout can use normally. Once again, this very subtle red flag is brushed off and the three players continue towards the intel. Finally, they arrive at the blue base where they anticipate an entire sentry nest will be, only to find it completely empty aside from a single soldier player who shows up and in a panic kills their heavy player and gets killed himself. They then proceed to the room where the intelligence is stored, only to find one of the eeriest visuals in the entire series. A lone spy sat right in front of the intel, his arm raised as if attempting to perform the high five emote. As they approach, a painful smile appears stretched across his face as if the model was being forced into that pose. And when the soldier attempts to emote with him, it doesn't work. This scene freaks me out so much because it genuinely makes the Serverblight here feel akin to that of some kind of carnivorous plant. It observed the players emoting before and is slowly but surely learning how to do so to find more creative ways to trap its victims. But as shown here, it isn't actually emoting like it's supposed to, it's merely imitating what it sees, thus why it doesn't end up working. One thing I find interesting about this too is that it doesn't need to do any of this in order to catch its victims. We have seen time and time again that the Serverblight can very easily assimilate people as is. It feels like it's only learning things like this because it enjoys toying with people, seeing what it can get away with. And I love that. I love that there is so much you can observe here just from one tiny interaction. It is so cool to me. Anyways, Nexus manages to get his hands on the intel, and as he rounds a corner expecting to see the blue team, he is instead greeted to why they are all missing, and one of the single coolest visuals in the whole series. Many of the players from the server can be seen here, as well as poor legendary sniper player Pastra Gushes. Rest in peace, King. You will be remembered forever. Nexus attempts to flee with his friends, and they are both chased by the emoting spy outside the intel, who they manage to kill. As they make their way to the middle of the map, they attempt to disconnect. Nexus realizes it won't work in typical Serverblight fashion, which is followed by him saying the line, "I have seen this before," which is probably one of the most interesting lines in this series, because if you remember, Nexus was brand new to this game. The only games he was described playing before this were Minecraft and Fortnite, which is based. So what does that mean? Does this imply that he somehow heard about the Serverblight from someone else? Has discussion about this phenomena spread through the internet? Is the Serverblight beginning to appear in other games? We don't know yet, and that fascinates the hell out of me. After this revelation, there's this heartbreaking scene where Nexus watches his friend get caught by the Serverblight, and from there, it is a mad dash to Spawn to try and cap the point to end the match. There's this brief moment where he encounters the heavy player from before, now assimilated and using the in-game voice chat to try and fool Nexus, much like Matt did in the entry titled Serverblight. This moment doesn't really add anything new in terms of rules or the mystery, but man, do I love it purely for the framing. The Heavy is always shown with his face out of frame, making it immediately apparent what has happened to him without us even seeing what is going on. It leaves a lot up to the imagination, and I live for this kind of shot composition in horror. It just keeps getting better too, because Nexus, not falling for it, continues running to the point where he is then chased by the Serverblight, which takes the form of this massive amalgam of all its victims. You get brief glimpses of it chasing above, and this crazy-ass visual where a mass of elongated arms reaches through a door to try and get at Nexus, which is now probably my favorite visual in the whole series, only for him to cap the point, allowing him to disconnect. The video ends with Nexus leaving and a new wave of players appearing, unknowing of the hell they just showed up for. This ending is really cool because I feel it finally delivers on a plot point that was alluded to several times in the past. You see, one thing I noticed was brought up a couple times throughout the series is the idea of actually ending the match to escape the server. It was suggested most prevalently in Reflection when Brodolphin offered it as a solution, only for it to be shut down because it would be too slow. This entry confirms that this is a genuine method to escape the Serverblight, and that the Serverblight seems to be aware of it. I mean, it stations itself right next to the intel and had an amalgam ready at spawn for when the scout came back. This thing wants to hold the match hostage so that players who don't know about the other methods of escaping can't abuse it. Just like the other entries, this one continues to answer questions while raising many new ones of its own, and I am so excited it came out so soon after my initial video about this series because I'm just excited to be keeping up with this whole thing. I once again urge all of you to try and keep up with it on your own, and please, if you noticed anything in this episode that I may have missed, let me know in the comments. I cannot wait to see where it continues to go in the future, and I can't wait to continue to discuss it in potential future uploads. Anyways though, that'll be all from me for now. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I cannot wait to see you here again for whatever my next project ends up being. Goodbye for now.